Hello and welcome to another episode of Item Review, the series where we're looking at different items from different mods to see if they're any good. Today we're looking at the Soul Harvester from the Calamity mod, so let's have a look. Remember to like and subscribe, and without any further ado, let's get on with the review. So then, in order to make the Soul Harvester, we're going to need a Death Sickle, which you get from Reapers during a solar eclipse, 20 Cursed Flame, I'm not entirely sure you can use Ichor, and 10 Plague Cell canisters, which drop from those strange cell monsters in the Plaguebringer Goliath after Golem has been defeated. This weapon therefore is limited to a corruption world, as you need Cursed Flames, as I don't think it works with Ichor. And this is the weapon. It is a melee weapon, it is similar to the Demon Scythe, and it spreads the plague. So let's have a little look. So as always, let's try it out on a King Slime. Here he comes. As you can see, it does go through blocks, and that is one powerful debuff. Wow, that is actually quite powerful. Not even doing anything and he's being melted. That is very impressive actually, and whenever a mob dies near another one, it does spread the plague, as it were. And each of these scythes appear to hit multiple times as well, which is always very useful. Let's try another one. Oh, got the Amarok. Appears that it pierces or hits maybe 2-3 times. It's definitely a good weapon, I'd say. Probably best against a crowd because of those explosions with the plague. Just as a side note, this weapon is a material for a much greater weapon. It is an item for the Nanoblack Reaper, which I imagine I will cover later, but we will not be looking at it today. And I think that's going to do it for today. I really like this weapon. I think it's really nice. It's got the nice plague, it's got a nice debuff, it explodes. It's basically an upgraded, Death Sickle, which is really nice, as the Death Sickle does become kind of useless, unless of course you get lucky and get a solar eclipse after or before Plantera and after the 3 mech bosses. So this is a really nice weapon. Yeah, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome to another episode of Item Review, the series where I'll be looking at different items from different mods to see if they're any good. Today we're looking at the Ghoulish Gouger from the Calamity mod. Please remember to like and subscribe, and without any further ado, let's get on with the review. In order to get the Ghoulish Gouger, you need to get it from the Poltergust boss, which spawns in the dungeon after you kill 100 of the Phantoplasm creatures that spawn there after Providence has been defeated. You get this one of many different items it can get, and it seems to ignore immunity frames, so let's have a quick look. As always, let's try it on a King Slime. So here he comes. And he's gone. That was very, very fast indeed. This weapon seems to be very good, and it seems to be true about what it says about ignoring immunity frames, as we just seem to keep on hitting it constantly. So let's try it again. And yeah, it seems to just go through the boss, so instead of the boss having a few frames of invincibility where we can't hit it, it ignores those and just hits it constantly again and again. Let's try it out on a stronger boss, perhaps Golem. This item is very much post-Golem, and yes, it's the same. We just absolutely destroy him. We're getting about 4,000 DPS, and he's gone. So this weapon it's alright. Just to note that this item is also another material for the Nanoblack Reaper. And I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you all for watching. I really like this weapon. It's definitely different, also passes through blocks, which is interesting. It's at the point in the game where everything becomes a bit OP, and I think it fits in very nicely. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome to another episode of Item Review, this series where I'll be looking at different items from different mods to see if they're any good. Today we're looking at the Essence Flare from the Calamity mod, so let's have a look. First of all, in order to make it, we're going to need 11 Cosmolite Bards, which we get from the Devourer of Gods, and 5 Nightmare Fuel, which we get from the Pumpkin Moon post Devourer of Gods. So let's give it a quick shot against a King Slime. So let's have a look, see how he fares up. I can't imagine it'll be that good. And yes, he practically got insta-killed, which is interesting. Now this is interesting. So according to the description, this shoots an essence scythe that generates healing spirits on enemy kills. So let's have another look, see if I get healed. And yes, I'm being healed for 8 hit points. That's interesting. So this weapon almost acts like the vampire knives, but I imagine it's a bit stronger. And it's very interesting as I believe it does pass through blocks. It's a melee weapon. It's got quite a good reach. It's also a material for the Nanoblack Reaper, which is interesting as well, as this can actually be upgraded even further. So let's try it out on a stronger boss. Let's try it out on Golem and see how it fares. And we're hitting 23,000 DPS, which is just mental. And also this is a post Devourer of Gods, which means you can use this against Yaren and the Supreme Calamitous. So this weapon is very good. And that's going to be all for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome to another episode of Item Review, the series where I'll be looking at different items to see if they're any good. Today we're looking at the Nanoblack Repeater from the Calamity mod, and let's see if it's any good. In order to make the Nanoblack Reaper, you're going to need the Essence Flyer, Soul Harvester and the Ghoulish Gouger, all 3 of which I have in fact made an item showcase of. And along with those you're going to need 5 Shadow Spec Bars, which you get from Calamitous, 4 Endothermic Energy, which you get from the Frost Moon post Devourer of Gods, 10 Dark Plasma, which you get from the Ceaseless Void, and 400 Nanites, which can be bought from the Cyborg. You can get also a rogue one of these, but I've got the melee one. So let's have a quick look. As with all of these weapons, let's first of all have a look against King Slime. So let's see how this does. And it's an insta-kill. As you can see, we hit him for over 2,000 damage, which is just ridiculous. Let's try it again. I doubt it'll be any different, but let's just have a look. And it's just, well, we just one-shot him, which for a weapon is a bit ridiculous. However, this is post Supreme Calamitous, so all of these weapons are supposed to be almost like cheat weapons, so you can't really take these very much seriously. See, Golem just gets destroyed, which is very impressive indeed for a weapon. So to conclude, this weapon is ludicrous. It does insane damage, has insane reach, it can pass through blocks, it homes in on bosses. It's just the all-round ridiculously overpowered weapon. Though this is not surprising, as it is an endgame weapon. It's a weapon that's not supposed to be taken seriously. You get the materials of the final boss, so there's nothing really to come after it unless you're using something like Ultraconics, which there might be another boss after Supreme Calamitous. So yeah, so to conclude, I really like, in fact I like all of these weapons, all 4 of them. I think the points which they come in the game, they're really useful. They have different mechanics, they have different effects, which I really like. And yeah, so that's going to be it for today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.